Last week I had the pleasure of interviewing Charles Hertan about his book The Real Paul Morphy, which recently won the English Chess Federation Book of the Year 2025. It really is an excellent work. Costs €29.95 and I think the same in US dollars. You can get it from all the usual places, including directly from the publisher New in Chess. I'll put the link down below. For me, Paul Morphy is a mysterious figure. How did he become such a brilliant player? You know, where was the chess tradition behind him? How did he burn so brightly on his European tour? And then why did he virtually disappear as a chess player? Charles Hertan provides lots of answers to these questions in the book, and I very much enjoyed dipping into it over the last few months. The book is erudite, entertaining, and revealing. There's lots of history in there as well, which I find particularly interesting. Hertan also provides a reappreciation of Morphy's play, showing he didn't just go in for these crashing romantic attacks, but was also a skilled middle game and end game player as well. Hertan has a professional background as a clinical psychologist, so he has a particular insight into Morphy's mental health decline as well. And that, of course, is a very important part of the story. Our interview was over an hour long. We took lots of questions from the online audience. There was lots of interest. And we went through a few notable games. So what I've done is I've taken a 10-minute clip from the interview where we go through a game which I think is particularly striking. This has long been one of my favourite Morphy games. I hope you enjoy it too. It's absolutely brilliant, but perhaps not in a way that you would expect. But what I want to do is, I mentioned this game at the start. So this is a game between Morphy and Loewenthal. We're running out of time, so I'm going to zip through this. Morphy playing white, and okay, again we've got this typical structure of 4 against 3 on the king side, but I really like the way that Morphy approached this one. So you could play f4 here, but after this, basically in a major piece endgame, you know, this is okay for black. But Morphy played far more enterprisingly with knight g3. And again, we've got this move e6 actually, which I find interesting, very typical. So right. You'll notice this. So yeah, pawn takes pawn. Right. That's a nice move. So Loewenthal brought this back. Now, I'm going to ask our viewers how they would play in this position. This is a very interesting moment. So over to you, everyone. So white to play. What would you do next and why? I've used this game on a few occasions in training sessions because I think it's such an instructive position actually, and a really instructive game.
Yes. Yeah, my next project, I'm going to write a book about positional chess, so non-forcing chess moves. And this is a good example because you have to find the move that most meets the demands of the position.
Yeah.
Figure out what that is. It's not always about forcing moves. Sometimes it's about understanding.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, your advantages and your opponent's weaknesses.
So it's white to play. Remember, folks, there's a queen en prise. I should just mention that. John says at least he was fast. He was suggesting g4, and it was a quick suggestion. Very quick. Okay, so this is interesting. So Shoulders of Giants suggests queen b3 check and taking on b7. So yeah, I mean, if if one can get away with taking this, then all is well and good, because it really shatters black's pawns. But watch this. This is where precise calculation is needed. And Morphy had obviously foreseen this, that basically the white queen gets checkmated. And after this exchange, of course, that just corrects the pawn structure, and well, it looks about equal, basically.
Yeah.
So that's the first bit of excellent calculation from Morphy. The other thing is Morphy recognised that black's king is worse than white's. So in this kind of situation, guys, we need to keep the queens on. So Paul Green, well done. Queen h3 suggested. And that's the move he played. Yeah, and well done to...
Because in a major piece ending, king safety, that's probably the single most important factor. And white has such a big advantage in that black has his work cut out for him.
So, yeah, well done to Aravind and well done to Paul Green, who both suggested Queen h3. And, yeah, it's a forcing move too. I mean, time is also a very important element in this position. Queen f6 played. And, again, I really like the way that Morphy played this next move. Really excellent move. So, again, I'm going to throw this one out. White to play. What did Morphy do next? Yeah, this part of the game was very vigorous. I really like it. It's all gone quiet again. It's much too difficult for them, Charles. I'm just going to have to show it if everyone's too shy.
Yeah, it's a positional idea with some tactical underpinnings, right?
Yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well. Okay, I'm going to show it, guys. Rook a e1, a very important move, because after this move, he doesn't have to exchange and actually can make progress by slamming the rook on e5. And of course, well, as we can all see, if that's taken, then white crashes through on f5. So rook e5 basically just gets a foothold in the position. So there we go.
Yeah. And in practice, that foothold's going to be enough to win. In the land of stockfish, maybe black can hold this, but that's really the key move that keeps white in control of the position.
Definitely. So let me zip through this quickly. So this is how the game continued. So that rook has established itself on a beautiful square, shutting out the queen, tying black to this pawn. And I'm just going to zip on. Actually, this is really important. Again, I very often stop at this moment and ask students, okay, what next? But I mean, I'm going to show it. We haven't got enough time. Very simple. Basically, Morphy understands that his king is completely secure on h2, and black cannot lay a glove on white in this position. And yeah, white basically has control. Now, how you win this is another matter, but here's an interesting moment. I'll get there. So this is the game. Right, if anyone can find Morphy's move here, I will be very impressed. So white to play. And for me, this game, and particularly this middle game, shows how sophisticated Morphy was as a player, actually.
Absolutely. Yeah. His technique was superb, really. And it's a consistent theme.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, a couple of viewers have suggested rook takes h6. I'm afraid this one doesn't cut the mustard, because after this, black takes on f4. And black is okay there. So no, it's not rook takes h6. Everyone's spotted that one. Charles, they're making lots of forcing moves.
right. But they're not all good.
Exactly.
and that one is fool's gold, because you're allowing black to trade off his weaknesses and get active. And those are, Black's two problems are he's passive and he has to defend three weaknesses here on h6, g6, and f5.
Yeah.
So you want to think long and hard before you let him liquidate that situation.
Yeah. Queen e8 suggestion. Now that's obviously a serious threat. I have a feeling that this is a good move afterwards. I think that's a good move.
Yeah, good counter, equal or stronger threat there.
Yeah, and basically ends up in a draw. I could be wrong, but I think that's.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that's correct.
Yep. Yeah, I guess this is a tough one for the average person because, you really it takes a deep understanding of the position.
Yeah, I'm going to show it because everyone's I said okay. The move he played was b3, and this position is Zugzwang. So Black does not have a good move in this position. This is absolutely brilliant, and that's why I mentioned that Morphy's level of understanding was really sophisticated. So basically, what can Black do? Well, a5, you can push some pawns, but then a4, still nothing to do there. Okay, what else can you do? You can move the king back, but h6. Well, I mean, rook g6 and rook h6 wins, so the king can't move. The queen can't move. Rook can't move because this drops. And so the game went b5. I mean, Black has no good move in that position. That was taken, and basically that's decisive because White maintains all the pressure.
Yeah.
And his position is now lost. Of course, as usual, with two connected passes on the king side, it's in rook and pawn endgame. It's actually a very simple win. And yeah, his technique was good. And yeah, that was the end of the game. So Shoulders of Giants says, wow, b3 is amazing. How have I never seen this Morphy game? I'll tell you why, because it's not the usual crash bang stuff. And also, I would say it needs explaining. One might play through this game very quickly without realizing how brilliant this game is. Because it all seems like Black just collapses. In fact, Morphy's moves were bang on, and that's why I was very, very impressed with that game. It's one that I've always really liked.